Yeah, for the Jags, I stack up on receiver because as long as I can afford weapons, I'm going to keep stacking more and more on. And I feel like with Calvin Ridley, I'm still going after DeAndre Hopkins because if I compare Calvin Ridley, who was once a top 7 receiver in the NFL, with DeAndre Hopkins, who a lot of people are like saying DeAndre Hopkins is washed, is saying he's a terrible receiver, is saying, oh, it's been injuries, injuries, injuries the past few years. Last year, he was suspended because of steroids. If I'm not mistaken, steroids help you recover from injuries faster and it helped him build a little bit more muscle tissue to be responsive and come back from injury. So, if anything, taking a little 6 game suspension to work out some injury issues, not the worst idea with the world. And then he finished top 25 as far as receivers and only played half the season. That's pretty impressive for me. So, for me, if I'm the Jags, going out there and getting DeAndre Hopkins, and then I'm going out there and then I'm getting a really legitimate quarterback. I'm going out there and going after Jamal Dean, and I'm going after Levante David. I'm going in all in this year. Javon Hargrave, Levante David, and Jamal Dean. I feel like this is the year where the Jags can go all in. Don't have to pay Trevor Lawrence yet this year. You have Christian Kirk, who's a solid 3 receiver on a Super Bowl team. Then you'll have Calvin Ridley. Marvin Jones is probably going to leave, so you can replace him with DeAndre Hopkins. And then Zay Jones is going to be your 4th receiver. And then you have Evan Ingram there. I feel like this year, pushing all the chips to the center of the table with the progress that Doug Peterson made with Trevor Lawrence. And we've seen these teams give up ridiculous amounts of assets to go after Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers. What the Rams did with Jalen Ramsey, it's like all of these teams have given up a ridiculous amount and it's paid off and it's paid bank, especially for the Chiefs this year who went out, signed a bunch of receivers, traded for Kadarius Toney, and then drafted a bunch of really good players. And then the Eagles last year, how A.J. Brown changed Jalen Hurts this world this year. I feel like for the Jags, and then the final piece on it is going to be the player that comes home. He's available right now. He
Thank
may
you.
get
I know
traded.
exactly what you're about to say. Yes.
You got to bring back Jalen Ramsey.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was about to say. Biggest move in the offseason. One of their weaknesses was getting cooked in the secondary throughout the season. They finished in the bottom half of the league. So, how do you fix that? Well, you have Shaq Griffin. Shaq Griffin's fine. He's a fine corner. Go ahead and pair him with, how about the best corner in the league in Jalen Ramsey? Jalen Ramsey, you give up, you could probably give up like a couple of thirds for him and get him back, maybe a second, because the Rams have to deal him. They have nothing. They're talking about a team that's in salary cap hell. The Rams are screwed. So they trade Jalen Ramsey. I also think for them moving in, I think, a DeAndre Hopkins would be interesting. I do think that it would be hard to get both him and Jalen Ramsey. It'd be a lot of draft capital to give up. But I think for them, their offensive line got better. I think they should re-sign Evan Ingram, re-sign JaMychal Hasty. He was the backup for ETN. He was pretty solid for him. And then for them, their defense. Bolster up the secondary, get some edge rushers in there. Trayvon Walker will be a year older. He'll be a year better.
Yeah.
They have some nice players on that team already. I like Josh Allen a lot as well. So for them, they get someone like a Jalen Ramsey. Maybe they go ahead and sign someone like a Yannick Ngakoue. I think that team would be pretty lethal at that point.
Yeah, I definitely like Javon Hargrave for them. I feel like that's a guy who you can go out and pay the bag and it's going to pay instant dividends because why would you want to stay in Washington? Like, I get Washington is kind of cool, but like Ron Rivera is your head coach. It's definitely going to fall apart. Your team's about to get sold to Jeff Bezos, who we predicted 3 years earlier before it even happened. And then you have a young team who just needs that dog and it just needs that thumper. So you have Jalen Ramsey, who is the epitome of someone who will be a leader, get violent, and get in the opponent's face and then get in someone's head. Jalen Ramsey is the guy who can go toe-to-toe with Travis Kelce and give him a hard time at the cornerback position. So if you get him, bring him home, and then go ahead and go out and get Javon Hargrave so you have legitimate corner who can lock down a number 1 receiver, give Patrick Mahomes a tough time, and then you go out and get a pass rush. And adding Calvin Ridley, I feel like that's going to be a huge bonus for this team. So in the draft, I'm focusing on linebackers And then I'm focusing on just shoring up that offensive line to give Trevor as much time as possible. Because if you give Trevor Lawrence an elite offensive line, he'll have more time to make decisions, which he could definitely, if there's one thing for Trevor to improve, it's definitely the decision making. He can make some pretty dumb throws, but
Four picks.
he was playing pretty elite towards the end of the season. He had that one game versus the Chargers, still won. Probably could have beat the Chiefs, and I feel like they feel it. I feel like the Jags think that we were there with the Chiefs. We turned the ball over twice on our last three drives, and we only lost by one possession. We're only a few pieces away, and we could probably do it with the team we have now, but they still need Calvin Ridley to go back to himself. So if I'm then, I'm either go out and get D Hop or trade for Brandon Cooks just as an insurance receiver in case he doesn't pan out.
Yeah, and he might also get cut by the Texans as well if they
Yeah.
can't make a trade partner. So that'd be an interesting fit for him. I definitely think getting another receiver would be good because then at that point you have Kelvin Ridley, you have Christian Kirk, and then getting another guy next to him who's going to be really solid, making Christian Kirk your three, that would be really solid. Definitely think in the draft they should get some linebackers, get some pressure, get some offensive line. Edge rushers would be good. Have somebody to pair alongside Trayvon Walker. And then, yeah, I think the big one is if you trade for Jalen Ramsey, I feel like at that point, outside of the Chiefs and Bengals, you're right there. You're right there with them because the Bills are going to fall apart this year. They have so many teams to resign.
Yeah.
And then after that, no other team am I really scared of at that point.
No, I'm not really scared of any team in the AFC. And then even the Chargers are in salary cap hell. Like the Chargers are going to continue to get worse. You still have Brandon Staley, you have Kellen Moore there, but the fact that they may have to cut Keenan Allen is pretty astonishing to me. And that just is a testament to people. DeAndre Hopkins says he wants to go the Chargers or the Jags, which is why I brought it up. The Chargers can't pay him.
No.
Like, I would love to see D Hop with Justin Herbert, and I think it'd be a great pairing. But like, the reason why it makes sense for him to go the Jaguars is because Trevor Lawrence is probably one of the best young quarterbacks to play with. Cannon of an arm, accurate, can make all the throws, and just needs to improve his decision making. And then already has Christian Kirk there, who he played with in Arizona. So you have someone who can go out there and actively recruit D Hop, and then one corner that D Hop has always been able to cook is Jalen Ramsey, and then get those guys on the same team. You got a legit squad. So I feel like this year is the year for the Jags to go all in. The script was released for the NFL this year, and the Jags are the team going to the Super Bowl next year. Probably going to get Jags and definitely not Cowboys, but we're going to get Jags and probably
Jags Lions.
Jags Lions. Jags Lions is the
Insane.
ideal Super Bowl, either Jags Lions or Bengals Lions. Or it's the San Francisco 49ers final time to make the Super Bowl, but we'll get to them when we preview them. But overall, like what the Jaguars are going to do, I think they're going to be the number one seed in the AFC this year just because they're playing in a division where we mentioned the Titans probably going to be retooling this year. They could be one of the worst teams in that division. Colts definitely retooling this year. They could be one of the worst teams in that division. Texans also retooling this year, could also be one of the worst teams in that division. The Jags are the
NFL.
only team who should be a dominant team and a force next year. Give Doug Peterson another year to coach that team and Trevor Lawrence. He's already one of the best coaches, probably the best coach I think we can say in that division just because he's been there and won a Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel hasn't.